Let me make sure it works for you. On the mic. There we go. Okay. So tell us who you are, what you're going to do, what grade you in, and all that good stuff.
Good afternoon. My name is Kaylee Amos. I am a sophomore at Brandon High School and a first year in Mayor's Youth Council, and I will lead us in the prayer. Let's pray. God, thank you for this day, and thank you for allowing us all to be here together. Thank you that you've given us traveling grace to make it here safely, and that we will have traveling grace as we leave. God, thank you for the wonderful decisions that will be made in this meeting, and thank you for the progress that we will make. Thank you for covering everyone in this room. Thank you for covering this city and for covering our nation. We ask that in all we do, we represent you. In Jesus' name, amen.
My name is Peyton Bryant. I'm with the Mayor's Youth Council. I'm a junior at Brandon High School, and I will be saying the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank y'all for coming out tonight. Nice to have some people in the room. Last time we had ice everywhere and nobody was here, so very glad to have you here. Okay. So I'd like to open this up for public comment, and like to get our auditor up here first, if you would come on up. I gave a report earlier last month that we were expecting our annual audit in February. And due to a couple of people contracting the virus, that was pushed back a few weeks. So I just wanted, rather than me give you a report about the status of our audit, I thought we would have our auditor give you, board, a status of where our audit is at. You need to pull that microphone down a little bit so you...
I don't know. My voice carries well, so that's not going to be yelling.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for inviting us. Well, we had originally intended to be here presenting an audit report, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, we are here to present a status. But before I continue about that, I did want to go ahead and take this opportunity to introduce you to our new partner at Barlow & Company. Greg Vaughn started with us last year in the fall, summer?
In August.
Fall, yeah. So anyway, he has been lucky enough to get involved this year with the city audit, and fortunately he's had lots of experience in the past dealing with municipalities, so it's been a great fit. And I haven't heard any negative backlash, so I think everything seems to be going well with his introduction into the audit. Several of you generally get calls during our wrap-up phase, so just wanted to kind of let you put a face with a name in case he is the one that reaches out as we do our final calls to the aldermen before we finish up. In that vein, our plan, we are fortunate enough, even with the snowpocalypse that you mentioned, we weren't here last time y'all were supposed to meet, I guess. We're able to continue to work. And so as far as status goes, Greg, we are finished with field work.
That's correct. Working on the report, some of the final wrap-up documentation procedures we do.
And at this point, it's my understanding that we have not encountered anything out of the ordinary, anything that's not in the normal course of our audit. I know we've got to get in touch with Mr. Baker fairly soon just to do our final update on the legal issues for the city. And like I said, we've got to be in touch with several aldermen soon. But our anticipation is that we'll wrap the report, have the good draft of the report within the next week or two. Typically that goes back to you guys for management's discussion and analysis, and then we take the opportunity to review the draft with you. So I'm thinking maybe not 2 weeks from tonight, but if there's any grace in this world, we should be fine to present the final audit report and hopefully get it adopted the first meeting in April. So If you guys have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. And if not, we'll just keep going about our business and let you guys know if anything comes up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Greg.
Thank
meet
you,
you.
guys.
Appreciate you coming tonight. All right. Now we'll recognize Ms. Sharon Womack.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight, Mr. Mayor and Board. I am just here to announce my candidacy for Alderman at Large for the City of Brandon this year. Very excited about this endeavor that I have chosen to jump into. I think I have spoken to most of you to get kind of your insight of some different things that are going on with the city, ways that we can continue to move forward, and that is my intent. If elected, I would like to continue the great progress that we've already started here in the city to increase development here with business and with job growth, and to also continue to work with the citizens here in Brandon. So short and sweet. So thank y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon. Appreciate that. All right, now we'll recognize Mr. Gary Simons.
Good evening, Board and Mayor. I'd like to say, first of all, that this is not my nature, what I'm about to do, what I'm about to say. A lot of times I just move on. But 42 years ago, February the 14th, I started a carpet cleaning business, college degree, with a carpet cleaning business here in Brandon, Mississippi. I had a pickup truck I paid $5,600 for, and I was basically broke. So I started that carpet cleaning business, and it grew into Gary's Carpets, what it is today. We're in the top 6 dealers here in the Jackson market. That includes Byram and Madison. And here recently, I was reading my paper, and I noticed where some carpet was going to be replaced here in City Hall, in the big meeting room, and there were a couple of smaller rooms as well as offices upstairs. And I noticed that the church that was in there was going to pay for this, and the board saw fit not to charge the church, but to pay for that. And so therefore, they would want to, it had already been bid out by the church. And so the board approved to use that quote, which actually is against state law. You got to do your own bid work. You can't use what some church, came up with. So anyway, I paid a visit to City Hall and talked to a lady. I asked her about the carpet bid, and she told me that they had already gotten 3 bids. And she asked me, she said, "Would you like to bid?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I would. Yes, I will." And I said, "How many of those bids are from Brandon?" She said, "Only 1." I said, "Okay." So I began measuring. I got everything measured. She gave me some specifications on the carpet, which I looked at them. I said, "That's not the carpet I'd pick up," because it was a polyester. If we drag a table across it, something heavy, it's going to melt it, because the nylon buttons, it can't withstand the friction, and it melts. So you need a nylon. But she said, "Well, you got to bid apples and apples." I said, "Okay, I understand that. We'll talk about that later, about quality." But anyway, I said, you need to get away from that carpet. So anyway, I went through, got all that together. I got the specs. I called my sales rep, which I've got a great reputation with basically most all the carpet mills. I know I've got accounts with them. I know the salesman. I mean, I've been doing this 42 years. And the last time I put a nickel's worth of carpet for the city at all was when Manning Cooper was mayor, and Billy Charles Smith was the clerk, and we had one lady working in the office. And it was in Larry Swell's old offices over between the bank and between there and Rankin County News. But anyway, that's the last time I was able to sell the city anything in my 42 years. So anyway, I called my sales rep for some special pricing, because we don't buy, it was 1,600 yards. Now, if I get a job that's about 100 or 200 yards, you know, we don't call in on that. We just use our price list and go. But if you get 500, 800, in this case, 1,600 yards, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a phone call. And any businessman knows how that works. So I called my sales rep and he said, oh yeah, he said, I can save you some money. I mean, usually sometimes they can save you as much as $1. So for just a phone call, I can save $1,600. And this is standard operating procedure for anybody that's in sales of carpet. So anyway, I asked him, I said, how many people have called you about this carpet, about this amount? He said, only one, Flowwood Flooring. I said, you mean I'm the second person to call? He said, you're the second person. Well, I want to submit to you this. This bid was awarded before I even turned my bid in. It was awarded. And the reason I know that, because the company in Flowwood tried to stop the order. There was panic in the camp when Gary Simons walked through that door and said something about bidding on this carpet. There's panic in the camp. There was conversation that went on. Oh, we need to wait a minute. Something's up. So I find out through the company that they tried to put a halt on this order. Why would you put a halt on the order? You know, if it's all above board, why would we put a halt on it? So I'm telling you, this carpet was ordered before I even bid. I talked to another company that bid. Their bid was in excess of $50,000, and I talked to him today. He said, I knew we weren't going to get this job. And I said, well, I kind of knew I wasn't going to get it either. I was told they had 3 bids already. Where are those 3 bids? I can't get that information. So I would just like to say today, I want to contest this bid. I don't know where these bids were open. Nobody was there. I think it was improperly done. And I think somebody put the carpet on order, and then they said, uh-oh, we got problems. So I just want to say this. I don't know who in the city, and I'm not saying any of you board members have had anything to do with this. I know y'all approved to go ahead and proceed with this. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. All I want to say is this. If there's anybody that works in City Hall, or maybe even on this board, I don't know who, that had anything to do with this, I just want to tell you, it's just distasteful. And I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this for Gary Simons. You may sit there today and say, he's just sour grapes. No, I'm not sour grapes. I'm 69 years old. I'm fixing to retire. If I don't get this job, I don't mean for this to sound arrogant, I don't need this job. I don't need this job. I mean, I'm ready to retire. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm doing this for the city of the people that live here in this city, because they deserve, for their tax dollars, which we depend on y'all, to spend. I do the same thing in my church. I depend on people to spend money wisely. I do it in my own business. I spend money wisely. I just don't grab that first bid and all of a sudden get in this situation, especially when I'm being held accountable. So I'm doing this for the citizens of Brandon. I'm doing this for the small businessman here in Brandon, whether he puts on tires, works on cars, or whatever he does. I'm doing this for him. Because our city don't need to go Flowwood to do business. I'm in Brandon. I'm one of the top 6 in this whole metro area. Why would I not get a phone call? And I'm telling you, it's a sad day when you experience something like this. And I said, I may be fixing to retire, but I'm not going to let this one pass. Because I'm going to tell you, I stand up for truth. I stand up for honor. And in my business, I have had crow feathers sticking out of my mouth from eating crow. I've sent men and women out to eat steak supper on me when their job didn't go like I really wanted it to. And all I could do was say, let me send y'all out for supper. But I don't know one customer that I've ever served that will ever say, that man right there, he put it to me. He didn't do me right, because my name's on the front of that building. And that's what Gary Simon stands for. And I just want my city to do the same thing. I want you to give these guys around here an opportunity to do business with this city. You owe it to them.
Thank you, Gary.
And I appreciate you hearing me.
Thank you, Gary. On behalf of anybody in the room, that's how we reversed what the city of Brandon had done for some amount of time. We covet every dollar, tax dollar that comes in here, just like it's a dollar in the plate at church. Covet every one of them and cherish every one of them. So, Angela, can you give us a report? Did you look up any of this? Did we have 1, 2, 3 accurate bids and this kind of stuff?
It was not bid out by publication because it was less than 50,000, so we do have the authority to accept quotes. The quotes, when we awarded the last bid, let's see, the low bidder was hold on one second. It was $20.67 a square yard. Yes, sir. Flowwood flooring came in at $20.67 a square yard, and the Mr. Simons was $26.75 a square yard. And as far as the manufacturer proceeding prior to, we didn't issue this purchase order until after this last order was approved. So,
All my question is, why would the order be stopped at the mill?
Well, if there was no purchase order, they were operating on their own deal. So they had no purchase order. There was no order. So I can't answer what a mill is doing and what it isn't. But, if there was no purchase order, I have to question why they were making anything, because they didn't have anything to pay against.
I know my store, it's a cold day when I ordered 1,600 yards of carpet at Price of Carpet House, and I don't have the purchase order. I would hope that Flowwood is not that ignorant to order carpet like that when they have no purchase order. But that's,
So we can get the exact date and probably almost the exact time that purchase order was issued, and I'll get that for you. I'll text that to you.
I've got
We'll get
the
that.
date.
You
It
got
was
the date? What date was
February
it?
22nd.
February 22nd?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Mr. Baker, you got anything you want to add? Inject? Okay. All right, we'll move on then. Is anyone else here this evening who would like to make public comment? Thank you for coming, Gary. Is anyone else here that would like to make public comment tonight? All right, seeing none, we will move on through the agenda. Need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of February 16th, 2021. Motion by Ms. Monica Corley, second by Mr. Lou Coker. Any discussion on that item? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Before I get off in the mayor, I gave the board a letter a few minutes ago that we received this week from the governor's office. Actually, it comes from MDA, but we were awarded a $600,000 CDBG grant. I've been working on that for 2 years. That will go what we call the Apple Ridge Sewer Project. There'll probably be close to Mr. Miller is here, $1.2, $1.3 million project, rebuilding a lift station. Totally, and you want to speak to that right quick? Okay, please, because we got the official letter. So my question to you and Charles is going to be for the board. I know I'm getting off script, excuse me, I do that a lot. How far down the road is it going to be before we can bid this, Angela?
Okay, backing up, it is about 1.2, 1.3 million. It's replacing the force main going from Apple Ridge Lift Station all the way to the West Rankin Sewer. And we will be doing some lining in the subdivisions of Apple Ridge and Orr area through there. We'll be doing some of the lining of the main service lines in those two subdivisions. As far as time frame goes, we have not gotten grant agreements sent out yet. So we're waiting on grant agreements with the state. That's between the city and the state. And we're waiting on environmental clearance, which is being typically handled by CMPDD. As soon as we get both of those, we'll turn around and get the project out for bid. And I don't know, COVID has, as far as a time frame, COVID's really messed up this whole process, slowed it down. As y'all are aware, a lot of meetings by internet and telephone. I would hope, normally by now, y'all would have already received a grant agreement. So hopefully you'll be getting a grant agreement soon in the next couple of weeks. And I reached out to Central Mississippi last week to check on the environmental clearance, but haven't heard anything back.
So give us a normal
I'd like to, I would
6
say-
weeks, 4 weeks,
I'd say 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, it would be normal. We'll see
Okay.
where this goes. And environmental clearance, that's assuming they don't find anything. All of this is replacing existing lines. We're replacing an existing force main, and we are CIPPing existing sewer lines, so hopefully we won't run into any problems there.
So the same CIPP project through all the Apple Ridge and Orr and
That's
Morrow
correct.
and all those streets is the same thing we're doing in Cross Gates?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Phase 1 in Cross Gates, all right? Thank you, Matthew.
Excuse me, I see that we are under the gun to do environmental clearance within 4 months of the award date.
Correct. That's what I'm referencing. That Central Mississippi's working on. As soon as we can't do anything. We can't enter into an engineering contract. Nothing can be done until that environmental clearance is complete. But as soon as they get that, everything will be ready to move forward.
Okay, but again, thank you for Award 1 and working with us to help us capitalize on getting $600,000 toward rehabbing those sewer lines.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Matthew. All right, under the mayor, consideration to approve the continuation of a local emergency for an additional 30 days or on such a time that the governor of Mississippi lifts the state of emergency, whichever comes first. Motion by Mr. James Morris. Second by Mr. Chris Vinson. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Ms. Bean.
May I take both of these items together?
Yes, ma'am.
The first item is consideration to approve and authorize the mayor to execute the extension and first addendum to the professional service agreement with Event Concessions regarding City Hall Live, and the extension and third addendum to the professional service agreement with Event Concessions regarding the Brandon Amphitheater. Number 2, consideration to approve the docket of claims for March 2nd, the electronic fund transfers for February 2021, and Fox Everett claims released on February 18th and the 25th.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Sanders. It's good to see things wake up again. I think Need to Breathe is a concert that went on sale today for April. Okay, good Christian act. All right. Is there a motion to approve those 2 items? Motion by Mr. Lou Coker. Who said that? Second by Mr. Harry Williams. Any questions on those? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dodd.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good evening.
I have one agenda item.
Okay.
Agenda item number 1 is continue the recessed public hearing and board action regarding the consideration of a conditional use application request from Betty and Thind LLC for 1.37 acres of parcel number J8-65.
Thank you.
Matthew, can you advise the board as to whether all of the prerequisites to the public hearing have been met?
Yes, they have.
And the public hearing was previously opened at the last board meeting, which it was duly and properly noticed for, is that correct?
Correct.
And then it was recessed, not adjourned, but rather recessed to this board meeting, is that correct?
Correct.
The last public hearing that was recessed to this, to continue today, no witness, no information was presented at that time to hold over to present today in full, correct?
Correct.
In conjunction with the application that is pending before the board, was a staff report prepared by your department?
Yes, it was.
Are you asking that the staff report be incorporated into the matters before the board?
Yes.
Was the matter presented to the Planning Commission?
Yes, it was.
During the process of presenting the matter to the Planning Commission, did you receive any objections, written or otherwise?
No.
Okay. What was the recommendation of the Planning Commission?
Recommendation was to approve the request subject to the staff report.
Okay. Were there conditions in the staff report?
The conditions in the staff report, along with Community Development's recommendation, was to approve it. However, contingent upon a permit approval by MDOT.
Okay. At this time, would you generally describe for the audience the nature of the application?
It's for a conditional use permit for the construction of a convenience store gas station. The property is zoned RC, which does require a conditional use permit to be approved by the mayor and board. It is a 1.37 acre parcel of land in East Brandon off of Highway 80. It's just next to the existing co-op, just west of the co-op.
Okay. At this time, we'll ask for those that are in favor of or in opposition or who desire to make any particular public comment with regard to the application to come forward and speak. We've already heard from the applicant, so because we have the application and everything before. Is there anything in addition to the application before the board that the applicant would like to present? Nothing more? Is there anyone here who desires to speak in opposition to the application before the board for conditional use? Is there anyone here who desires to make any particular public comment with regard to the application? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Mayor, that I'd ask that the public hearing be closed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Thank you, Mr. Dodd. So we need a motion to continue well, we did that. So are we good? Is there a motion to approve this? Ms. Tony Dodds makes a motion to approve. Is there a second? I'll go with Ms. Monica. Ms. Monica Corley made the second. Any further discussion or comment or question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Page 2, Mr. Smith.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good evening.
Mayor, I have 5 items. Permission to take those together.
Yes, sir. Slowly, please.
Item 1 is consideration to declare one Apple iPhone XR bearing serial number DX3CLO3N, KXKN, and one Apple iPad Pro bearing serial number DMPV60DRHPT4 as lost or stolen and delete from inventory. Item 2 is consideration to eliminate the pressure reducer valve fee of $125 pursuant to the memo. Item 3 is consideration to approve the utility adjustment denials pursuant to the memo. Item 4 is consideration to declare an emergency the storm drain repairs at 312 East Brandon Court from Southernscapes Landscape and Design in the amount of $5,266 and authorize payment of the same. Item 5 is consideration to declare an emergency the sewer repairs on Prince Drive from Suncoast Infrastructure Incorporated in the amount of $5,967 and authorize payment of the same.
Charles, Mr. Baker has a question for you.
Yes.
Are the emergencies referenced on items 8, 4, and 5 generally described in your memo? For the emergency, it's at East Brandon Court. That was a sinkhole forming in the front yard of the main sewer drain?
Yes, bear with me, I'm pulling that memo up.
Okay, and then the one at Pine Drive was clogged pipe resulting in a sewer bypass issue which created a health and safety risk?
Yes.
Both of those constitute emergencies based on your experience?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any further? Okay. All right, 5 items under Public Works. Is there a motion to approve those 5 items? Motion by Mr. Harry Williams. Second by Mr. Dwight Middleton. Any further comment or question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Ms. Laurie, I believe you're going to do Parks and Rec tonight? Yes, and again, I don't know if Charles is still in the sound, can hear me, but thank y'all for the efforts today and getting that ground breaking done in the rain in the tent. I think it came off really well and presented Brandon well. And for those of you that don't know, we did a groundbreaking on East Metro Phase 3, which will be connecting US Highway 80 and Highway 25 at Dogwood. That was awarded to Yates Construction. We gave them a notice to proceed today. Look forward to that. It'll probably be somewhere between a 16 and 20 month construction project, heavily dependent upon weather. Will be a total rebuild of Crossgates Boulevard, eliminating all open ditches, turn lanes, sidewalks on both sides, so you'll be able to ride a bike or run all the way to Belk if you'd like to do so. But natural contention, now we need to keep moving south to I-20 and then bridge over the railroad tracks and 4-lane 18 south. We just need to keep moving south and keep working on that. That project has been in the works for 30 years. Mayor Rhodes thought he would pass away before he saw the completion to Highway 80. So I guess we're going to get a little more time out of him. So anyway, it's a big thing for Brandon. It's a big thing for all of Rankin County, Flowood and Pearl, our sister cities, and very proud we were able to pull that off. So now let's crack the whip on Yates Construction. All right, Ms. Laurie, go ahead. Thank you very much, Laura. And Board, you know, Corey was instrumental in getting the Christmas lights out there at Quarry Park done this year. He worked a lot out there. He's taking a job with Olive Branch as a golf course manager. Truth be known, he's moving closer to his mother-in-law's, and you know, that's kind of one of those things of happy wife, happy life. But Corey was good, did a lot of good work for us, and we'll get to work trying to replace him in the coming weeks and months. So with a motion, need a motion to approve those three items, please. Motion by Mr. Chris Vinson, second by Mr. Luke Coker. Mr. Baker, do you have something? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Board, Mayor. Mayor, take these together.
Yes, sir.
Mark, I will be rewording some of item 1 to make it a little more accurate. Okay. Item 1, spread upon the minutes, letter from the Mississippi Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission dated 29 January 2021 with regard to the Brandon Police Department being a certified law enforcement agency that is now in compliance with Executive Order 13929 in regards to use of force.
Got it. Okay.
Item 2. Request permission for Sergeant Seth Brown to travel to Jonesboro, Arkansas to attend CTS Training Institute March 29 through April 1, 2021, and that is a less lethal course.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve those two items? Motion by Mr. James Morris, second by Ms. Monica Corley. Any further question or comment? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Oh. All right. There he comes. Good evening, sir. All right, so we had everybody messed up because we did a statewide tornado drill and phone blows up. What's going on?
Well, due to the inclement weather, we decided to postpone it to March 3rd at 12 noon.
March 3rd at 12 noon, we'll do a city
weather siren test.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll give you all an update after that. Our Ems Report, we had 178 priority 1 calls with the average response time of 9 minutes and 19 seconds.
Okay. All right. Correct.
Is that averaging in during the ice storm?
Yes, sir. Yeah, everything we did this last month is averaged in. And we're still fighting. It's going to be up a little bit because that's one of the reasons. Yes, sir.
Doing a great job. All right. Thank you, Chief. Board need to determine the necessity of being in executive session. Motion by Ms. Monica Corley, second by Mr. Luke Coker. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. For those of you who don't normally attend, the board doesn't leave the room. We have to ask you to. I think we got maybe 2 short items, but we ask you to step out in the hallway, so that we can maintain some social distance